Alrighty. I think we're good to like begin at least the intros and stuff. For the early birds that are out there, we have like we just have like a very quick like announcement before we begin talking about the new no move small talk discussion. Is that so basically we wanted to just address the release date of the update 7, which is going to be basically July 6th. So that is the new date when the update is going to go live, which is one week after the original planned date. Basically, the only reason it was that we needed just more time to polish all the changes and all the adjustments that we want to make. The balance, the economy, the new and other new features that you guys are going to find out more about. There are certain tabs that are going to be fully reworked, and there's going to be a bunch of other rewards that are going to be rebalanced. So we need to just spend more time testing all of this. And also, speaking of small talk changes, we are going to be obviously reintroducing people to the game with a new tutorial, because the old tutorial simply doesn't make any sense anymore. So we had to rework the new player experience from the ground up to adjust for that. And then because we are rebalancing also player experience requirements, players will be slowly, progressively unlocking features of the game at certain XP levels. Obviously, that doesn't apply to you guys mostly because you're like all above 35 to 40 levels already. So you should be having everything unlocked already. But for the new players, it should be a much smoother unlocking experiences. So it's not going to be just like a feature vomit or like at some point for everybody and just be like, you can do now everything and be very confused. So we are just going to be like, and we just need to spend some more time testing all of those features to kind of make sure that people are going to be kind of smoothly going through that unlockable experience, because obviously our priority is also the new players of the game. But yeah, that's just kind of like a pre-announcement of the main discussion. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
No, I got to start by saying, the new graphics, the new art. I got to commend the art team.
Oh yeah,
absolutely fantastic. Love seeing the new animations, like the bubbles, seeing within the heroes, seeing the new profile icon, right next to like the trophy. Just the graphical upgrades you guys have made. So please, please, please tell the art team you guys went above and beyond for this. But as we're all here, this change channel is not just because of, telling about all the positives. There is definitely some questions we have from the community. My name is Spoob. This is Full Frontage. We're both content creators for the Clash Mini community, and we wanted to drum up some questions that we had from the Clash Mini community, either on Twitter, Discord, or on the Reddit. So, Full Frontage, want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so we are pretty excited. I will be the first to admit I have probably been the most vocal out of all the content creators about skepticism of this new change. But so we'll dive into that a little bit, and I saw Frame laugh a little bit because he knows it's true. But yeah, so we'll get started with it. One of the first things that I saw as a question was we did see some like new balance kind of sneak peeks in the gameplay, like Spear Goblin hitting an archer for 20 damage, the Golden Giant having 30 base HP and getting 15 per level. So Donghang certainly has his work cut out for him in terms of putting together a balance for an update like this. But can we get a little bit more insight to kind of talk about the gameplay changes that we saw, like why more damage, why more health, the tiles, and the clash ability changes, things like that, because I know there's a lot of things that the community has questions about, especially clash abilities, and what does that all look like with the no movement change?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it all goes down to the no movement, because with no movement, even though it's a mini change, like I said in the video, but as a result, it impacts everything, how you think about the game. We internally almost call this Clash Mini 2, because everything changed, and all the knowledge, all the system we built for the old gameplay does not work for the new no movement gameplay. Our plan was actually reworking everything. And because we don't have enough time and we do want to get players' feedback ASAP, so we dropped a lot of the changes that we actually wanted to do. We only implement, I think, 1/3 of the change we actually need to, because the game is totally different game now. And we changed some of the essential ones, for example, the number system. Why the number system needs to change? Because in the old game where you can move everything around, every game is very chaotic. So because you have no idea where enemy troops are, so the battle will play out in a way that you cannot predict. That basically means every mini needs to have decent HP, decent damage to make the battle feel exciting and fun to watch. But that also make every mini very similar in terms of stats, because the battle will play out very chaotically. If one mini has very extreme stats, for example, let's say Spear Goblin has 1 HP, 100 damage, that's a very extreme stats. If we have things like this, once players fail to predict the enemy placement, and their game goes to really bad situation, because they'll get one shot immediately and do nothing, right? So that's where the old system, where everything can move, battle is chaotic, so mini stats needs to be well-rounded and more similar to each other. However, here's a huge change, even though it's a small change, that when you cannot move, then if you can protect your Spear Goblin, you then you protect it, right? Because if no one can touch him, then no one can touch him, because those are fixed based on the previous position and the next move you have. So we can make minis much more extreme than what it used to be. So now tanks can have much more HP and much less damage, and DPS can have much higher damage and much less HP. So that so we have to make all the minis feel much more different than what they used to be, so that the game becomes more strategic. So imagine things like chess, right? Every piece is very different, right? Knight is very different from queen, because the game is not chaotic, right? It's very predictable. So that same applies for Clash Mini. After the no movement change, the game becomes much more strategic. And if you have a tank, that tank should be very, very tanky. That's why you see the stats are much more extreme than what it used to be.
So for example, does this mean for like P.E.K.K.A, we'll see a lot more HP for P.E.K.K.A and a lot less damage for P.E.K.K.A?
It depends on P.E.K.K.A's position in the game. We think P.E.K.K.A is a very well-rounded warrior, frontline warrior. He needs both damage and HP. So he is going to have both. But we don't feel P.E.K.K.A needs to be that special, because he's just a melee fighter. So he has one of the best stats in the game, but he does not have the ability to... Gee,
absolutely. She's the best wife in the game. That's what you talked about.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So the stats will be very well-rounded, because we believe P.E.K.K.A shouldn't be okay. The stats, extreme stats, also goes to different types of minis. For example, minis with super, minis with passive, and minis with clash. Minis with clash ability, their stats are even more extreme, because they are there to surprise the enemy or counter the enemy placement. So when they are on the board, they don't need a lot of stats. They just need to place later to counter the enemy. So they have less stats. But for minis, we want them to go to the field. How do you say? Like they go to the battlefield first, like the pioneers, right? Like the front lines, who goes to do the board early rounds, because they don't care about being countered, because they are well-rounded. They will have better stats compared to the Clash guys who can counter the others. So Mini P.E.K.K.A is one of the typical mini that you can place the Mini P.E.K.K.A turn 1 and will not do crazy harm for both sides. It's just a very reliable mini. So they have really good stats and they go turn 1. And the Spear Goblin can go turn 2, turn 3. They have less stats, but very powerful clash abilities.
I gotta say, this is definitely a very polarizing change. I definitely on board for something like that. A big example is like Golden Giant versus Giant Skeleton. Giant Skeleton's job was just to, his all of his abilities kind of lie within him dying versus Golden Giant having more survivability. Every single time you were to upgrade Golden Giant, you not only get a huge HP upgrade, but you also get attack speed. So it's kind of weird to see Golden Giant being the last mini on the board, dealing a lot of damage like to minis that really shouldn't be taken out by Golden Giant. So this is definitely great to see different values within the game. It's definitely nice to see a more percentage based, seeing 20% being healed for a couple of seconds instead of just a static +9 or +6, for every couple of, for every time being stunned. So this is definitely a change into the right direction. What I want to get into is going to be the whole thing with why make this movement be a part of all game modes. What we saw within the event draft mode is to see that we got a bigger board. And I feel like this is a great testing ground for all players to see, oh, is this going to be a good enough change? Will players like this? And I got to say, at least looking at my community, we saw pretty positive feedback within the larger board. But why make the decision where no mini can move whatsoever? I'd just like to hear your feedback based on that.
Yeah, I think internally we debated a lot. Shall we make it like an event mode, or shall we make it to like the default way of playing the game? We were just saying, hey, let's just build this and play. And if we feel a lot of fun playing it, let's make it default. If we don't feel it's that good, then maybe we can put it in the events and try it out, and then maybe iterate in the future. Once we implement this and start playing, the whole team felt something very, very unique and special we have never felt before. So basically, me and Shun Yao, who was our economy guy, we play like 20 games in a row, like non-stop, like early in the morning, like 8 a.m. And we play 20 games straight, and none of us changed deck. We just play the same deck and for 20 games in a row, and none of us want to stop. I lost like 18 of them. I won 2. He won most of them, but I still feel really fun because every game I feel like I understand why I lost, because all the battles, each battle is based on the previous battle, right? So I can clearly see why I lost and how can I improve. Even from game to game, I can try to learn him better because I can tell his way of thinking by his progressive the placement of minis. I feel, oh, I know this guy better now. Let me play again. Oh, I know him even better. Let me play again. Even though I kept losing, but I just kept playing with him because I felt a lot more fun than I never felt before. And we invited the whole team to play, and a lot of people felt the same way. So we felt that if that's the case, maybe we should apply this to the bigger audience, which means the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, but originally, yeah, as you said, like we wanted this to be an event mode, and then we tested it. And then, yeah, Fan at some point just said, like, make it a default, make it a duel. Let's just switch this up. And then invited, like, member by team member, like one by one, to play duels. And what was increasingly obvious very, very quickly, like within first 10 minutes of gameplay, you realize that you have control over what happens to you. And it is something that never has occurred before in this game. Even when I joined the team 2 years ago, I felt that every time you start a new round and there's an element of like where your enemy can completely shift all the minis into one side and completely ruin your strategy, no matter like, which was like, it just was something that I was like, yeah, this could be creative, this could be fun, but there is much more percentage on like predictability and luck versus the actual skill. And now that we tried this mode, this definitely felt like I can learn my deck better and then adapt to basically any strategy that is thrown at me. And same with me. So basically, when I started playing with Fan, I also haven't changed my deck. And even with the fact that I only had like I think Ice Wizard in my deck that was kind of like preventing abilities from like getting me hit, like I had so much diversity in like terms of like where I can position, where I can do with upgrades, where like, if he has clash abilities, I upgrade the block first. If he doesn't, I slow him down, stuff like that. And it really, really opened up quite a lot of opportunities for me to learn my own deck and kind of like master it much better versus, oh, well, I lost, I'm going to change my deck, right? Like, and that's something that really has never happened before for me. And I think it's a majority of the case for a lot of a lot of team members. And yes, I predicted the reaction of the stage channel of the small talk to be half negative, half positive, because people haven't played it. And when the team heard that we want to proceed to make this a full a full game mode that's like that's actually the main mode, it's people were skeptical until they tried it. So it was just a fact of like just playing it and realizing it how much more fun and reliable it is.
I mean, that's kind of definitely how I'm feeling right now, because like I said at the start, I've probably been the most skeptical out of the creators. That is like kind of like, what are you guys doing in a sense? And I definitely see the positives in it as well. I addressed this in my video earlier, because you do have it as like kind of a chess component, like Fan was saying earlier, where it's like each mini kind of has its purpose. You have to think ahead. But at the same time, my concern about it was the casual player base, because the casual player base drives the game. You guys were talking about how you played similar decks and everything like that. What does the learning curve feel like for a new player? Because the concern that I have on my side is if players feel like they're losing kind of controllability, like we saw within Squad Busters, for example, that beta was stop and attack, and there was no kind of control of what your units did. Once you just had them, they were there, and that was it. You kind of chose what you played, and then the rest was kind of up to the system to kind of play it. So, like, what's the learning curve like for new players? Is this still going to be a casual, friendly game? What do you think the casual player base is going to feel about this?
Yeah, we actually we were having the similar concerns. So we invited our HR department people who don't play much games. They spend most of the time looking at resumes. I was like, hey, can you try playing our game? And he played it, and he really also, this is much more fun and much easier to understand, because he hates moving minis between rounds, because he has no idea how to move them, because he's very casual.
And also why to move them, right?
Yeah. And people like Donghang, who is like 3,000 trophies or 4,000 trophies, they know exactly how to move their minis each turn, because they know the meta, they know how to predict. But for players like our HR friends, they have no idea. So each turn, like moving is such a painful work for them to do. They have to do it, but they don't know how to do it. So they just randomly place things around and then lose or win depending on luck, right? So that's one friend we invited. Also, we invited our IT dude who do not play a lot of games and spend most of the time dealing with our servers and our tables, and he also played. He also liked it. So we felt that that should make it sound a little bit better than what we thought in terms of the learning curve. We also did a playtest cloud playtest. Did that playtest cloud? Yeah. We used that platform to invite players who we felt might be very casual in terms of age, stuff like that. And we observed them playing, and we felt, it feels actually better than the playtest a few years ago when we did, before we went to beta 2 years ago. It's actually much better in terms of how they learn the game. So we felt that even though it sounds very controversial, sounds harder or more hardcore, more strategic, but it's actually easier. Because if you think about it, right, players place their minis, and they don't have to move them again. They don't have to care that much as a casual player. They only need to care about new mini they play. So actually the things players need to think is much less. And it feels more like chess, who is something players already know, because in chess you cannot move your thing every round, right? It actually feels more relatable to something they know in their real life. So because of that, we believe that it's probably adding depth without adding complexity. And it's probably the best situation of removing complexity while adding depth.
Well, also, like you did when we went to Finland a few weeks ago, well, actually, not during that trip. Trip before that, Fan went to Finland, and also like he showed the early version of this no move gameplay to majority of the office there. And one thing is that like a lot of the developers there don't have time to play mini like full time. And so we basically made an announcement that we will proceed with this. And a lot of people were just like you guys were, as to like why and why this moment. And then Fan, instead of like explaining to people and sitting down and like talking to them, he just gave them the game and like asked them to play a few rounds. and yeah, I think the reaction from well, how many percentages like wise people were like
I think we only invited like six dudes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think most of them feel much better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you also have like casual conversations and casual like
Yeah, I do.
tests as well with people,
Mhm,
and
yeah.
it was the reception was extremely surprising to me. So yeah, it was kind of a mix of a bunch of perspectives and a bunch of people with different backgrounds as well.
My other concern with that too is with it being that there's minimal adaptability within the game in terms of like once you play it, it's kind of there. Is this a game that people can play for years to come? Because that's Supercell's core philosophy. When it comes down to that, are people going to get tired of not being able to move in game and just placing things and then just kind of watching it and not really be able to, oh, that's a mistake. Oh, this game's a wash. I messed up. I'm just going to throw this game and go to the next one. And then people might get bored of that in a sense after a few times, especially if they're not fully understanding it, because obviously everybody has different learning curves. And of course it's impossible to predict, but like, is that a concern as well? Is that this game is not a game for years to come?
I actually think the game has more adaptability than before. Because if you it does upgrades in our game, right? Whenever we upgrade a mini, they learn a new ability or upgrade their ability in a different ways. And previously, because enemies are moving all the time, when you upgrade something, you have no idea why you upgrade this. For example, I upgrade my giant skeleton to get more damage, right? But because my giant skeleton can totally miss, and then that upgrade goes into nothing, right? Just some HP bonus. So my upgrades are a little bit more random, and also like I'm kind of like guessing or betting. But with no movement, each upgrade choice becomes much more important, right? For example, based on the turn one, I see, oh, my Ice Wizard connected with the enemy hero.
Yeah.
Great. Let me immediately upgrade this, upgrade the improve slow percentage upgrade so that the enemy hero can do nothing, right? So because I know what happened last round, so my upgrade decisions becomes much more logical and relatable and more strategic compared to previously. So even though you cannot move, but the upgrades become much more critical and important. So we felt that the depth from movement versus the depth from upgrade, I think the depth from upgrade feels much more fun because it's more predictable. It's about making one choice from three choices rather than randomly place me's around. So that's why I think the game is actually more adaptable rather than less. And in terms of the longevity of the game, I actually think this gives the game much better longevity because, just like I said, right, each game players learn what happened and they can see things much clearer. So there's a much stronger sense of being better at this game, being better at playing against different play styles. When I play with Vlad, I know his style is very different from Donghang, and keep playing because I can see the history of each match. I can know how he's thinking. I know him better as a player, so I want to play with him like 10 games, 20 games down the road. So I think that's the ability to know the game, the ability to know that I'm improving, the ability that allows me to also know the enemies through the game is always good signs that the game has depth, to me at least. So that's how I feel there's actually more depth and the better longevity.
But also, don't underestimate new players and their willingness to learn. I mean, my 4-year-old daughter is very excited to play chess with me every day, even though she loses 90% of the time. It's like, I don't think it is the matter of like, losing and then giving up on the game. It's about like the experience of learning what each piece does.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because I think losing is fine.
Yeah.
Not knowing why I lose is terrible.
The worst.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, it's like the experience of like, well, something one-shot me and I've seen it for the first time and I have no idea what happened there. It's pretty bad. Yeah, and that's something that needs to be eliminated. So yeah.
I'm just gonna.
But also
jump
it goes
in.
together.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in real quick.
No, go ahead.
I think honestly, so watching over that footage that we saw from Small Talk, this is not really like an important question at all, but I just want to get your guys' idea about this. But the main thing about not moving minis, right? Elixir plays a huge factor now. So you have like something called like loot streaking. You see that a lot in TFT. You see it a lot in Auto Chess Origins, Dota Underlords. I can see that this has now become like more of a factor within Clash Mini. So with that being said, do you think we'd be able to move minis at the cost of Elixir? And being able to use your repositioning Elixir in order to put them somewhere either safer or more in advantageous positions. Say for instance, I'm going to use Electro Wizard, and like round number 4. And I want to use its second ability, and my royal champion is on the other side of the map. Because, there's going to be danger on that side. I'm going to see a Spear Golem, I'm going to see a Prince, I'm going to see Fisherman. That's already taken up my Electro Wizard. Can I spend maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 Elixir to move that Electro Wizard to the other side of the map, where it's not only giving value, the big value, bringing value over to my units, but also taking the accompanying Clash units out of danger?
Yeah, that's a great question. We during the development phase, we brainstormed a lot of ideas like this. For example, using move token to move, using elixir to move, use reroll token to move. Yeah, and all kinds of move, reposition, but none of them feel that great, because here's the thing. What's really good about this change is that reliability and the certainty, right? Even though enemy did this move with a cost, right? But to me, as the opponent who is playing, I feel like I was being cheated rather than being outplayed, and I think that's a really bad feeling. So, for example, when let's say I play with Vlad, right? Vlad changed his thing with a cost, and to me, I feel like, is that because Vlad is smarter than me, or it's because he is willing to sacrifice more than me? And that does not feel as good as, okay, both me and Vlad know the situation, what happened last round, and he used a choice of like upgrading, and I know what are the upgrading choices he has, and I kind of like outsmart him, or I predicted where he's going to add his new mini, or which upgrade he did, and I countered or predict that, and I'll play him because I know he has finite choices, and I predict all of them and try to counter him with my best guess of where he's to be. So that feels like an intellectual kind of sparring, and I beat him. I feel super good about being smart. Versus, he moved to a place I have no idea where he is with a cost, and I feel when I lose or when I win, I don't feel good either way, because it's not because he's smarter, it's because he's willing to sacrifice. And I don't think the game is about sacrifice. The game should always be about being smart or being smarter.
One thing to remember also, one thing that also kind of like opened up my eyes after I played this, is that don't forget, minis are not standing in that little square all for the whole match. They can still move, guys. They have feet, okay? So, like, this is not like minis are static and they're just waiting for things to come to them and then they whack them when they're in the range. It doesn't work that way. You've seen Archer move. Have you seen Archer move?
Have
that
we?
gameplay? You've seen Archer move.
Wait, have we?
Archer doesn't move.
Does she have infinite range? She has feet.
So Archer doesn't have infinite range anymore. And so, like, minis like that, they have the opportunity to reposition after the battle starts, which is a big consideration that you need to take into account when the battle starts with the aggro ranges. So you can play on that bet, and you can be like, I'm going to position P.E.K.K.A on the top left corner, and I will hope that P.E.K.K.A aggros everything that is in her range at the beginning. and then P.E.K.K.A will tank while I'm doing the damage on this other side. So counting on that aggro is something that is very important still. Like, it is not like this is going away. I don't think people are grasping the scope of this actual change, because once the battle begins, it basically feels like an old game. The only thing that's really different is the restriction at the pre-match phase, where you only can deploy things that haven't been deployed yet and reposition those. So it is not something that is so dramatic after you play a few matches and you get used to it. But counting on the aggro range, and that's why you can see in the new gameplay, when you're dragging the new melee unit onto the board, they have a little dotted corners around them that indicates the aggro range. And if you put them as close as possible to another enemy mini, it will indicate that it will attack that mini in the beginning of the round, which is a very big guarantee that you will know that this mini is going to attack this other opponent mini right away. Same with Archer. Before you position Archer in the spot that you want, you will know which mini she will attack at the start of the round, which also guarantees you that your strategy will be executed to a perfect way. And instead of like just hoping that she will attack somebody at any other position, because before she had infinite range, you have no idea what's going to be an infinite range, because somebody can shuffle things completely and suddenly put like a giant scout in the back. It's going to take forever to kill that, and that's going to take it, and then there we go. And so just keep that in mind. I feel like a lot of people forget that, and they feel that minis are all now gizmos and they're like literally immovable objects, so which is not the case. Yeah.
Well, thank you for answering that question. It's such a I guess the main thing, it's such a polarizing change, and seeing this both gets us as creators, 400s, me and chat and everyone, excited but also worried about the future of the game, because a lot of us have been talking just one-on-one or even in group chats that this is either going to be the make it or break it for the game. Do you see this as like this about a backlash end up killing the game? Like we see examples like Clash Quest. It over to landscape, and then you see Brawl Stars going global. What do you got to say to the people out there that are just coming out here and instead of giving feedback, but just saying, "Oh, the game's dead. The game's dead." Like, what's your message to them?
I actually love to see people say the game is dead. Seriously, I love that much more than, yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah.
Or this sounds fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I predict this, because I think that it all goes down to Supercell's company mission. We want to make the best game. We do not want to make some mediocre game. We do not want to just make a game that can make some money. We want to make the best game that everyone likes and remember for years. So if we want to make games like that, we have to do something very extreme, because only extreme things can get us there.
Yeah.
Mediocre things that everyone likes, it's probably not going to give people that kind of excitement. Maybe there are ways to do that, but as a really small company, we do not have the luxury to do those kind of games that satisfies everyone. We have to make a choice and focus on the only thing we can focus.
Yep.
And for Clash Mini, we believe that the gameplay is the most important thing. Even though we improve the art, the artists, they are amazing, but gameplay is our focus. And to make this gameplay satisfy everyone, or make this gameplay satisfy some players, we have to make a choice.
Yep.
Right? If we want to make something that satisfies everyone, we probably need like 10x the team, making something that we kind of ask players, hey, what do you like? Would like that? Can we make a game that everyone likes? It's almost like really, almost like impossible. I don't think there's any game in the world that can satisfy everyone, right? So we have to pick our battle. And we decided to pick this gameplay and all into this gameplay. Some players may quit. Some players will hate us. Some players will feel, oh, this is not the Clash Mini we want to play. But to reach to something that's like, okay, how to say this? I rather make, let's say the happiness, right? The score of happiness is like 1 to 10. I rather make half of the players like extreme happy, like 10. Half players is like 1. versus all the players are between 5 and 7. That's how I personally feel we should make games.
Yeah.
So we should focus and make something really good for some players rather than make something mediocre for everyone. Yeah. That's why I really like when people say, hey, this game is going to get killed, or hey, this is the worst update I've ever seen. That means this update is so extreme that some people really hate it. That also means some players could really love it. And I also saw those comments, which is great. Of course, if everyone say, hey, this is garbage, then of course we made a wrong decision. But I see polarized stuff, and I really like that. I think for small company like Supercell, small teams like us, polarizing is probably the only way we can make something that's really, really great.
Yeah, I tweeted a week ago about Risk. Yeah. And I think that's why that tweet now makes sense to everyone after Smalltalk came out. And it is definitely, it is basically saying that you need to take big risks in order to make, in order to make something impactful and something that's actually has never been done before. And something that has never been done before cannot be done safely. It is literally impossible because you're doing something for the first time in history, and you don't know what's the path. And of course, people will tell you to not go down that path because they have not seen it before. But if you go and take it, there is a chance that you're going to succeed. So without us taking a bet, and again, we're not here to make this state channel be like, trust us guys, it's gonna be great, it's gonna work out, it's gonna take we're like totally open to feedback. We want you to play, we want us to rebalance the game, we want us to address whatever the concerns are, and then release update 8 with all its crazy ideas again, and have a bunch more stuff to address this change as well, and then take it from there and then see what happens. So there is still plenty of work to do. Also, on top of that, we also have like a bunch of new tiles that we haven't shown and released to you guys, and these tiles are also going to be part of the no movement addressing. Some tiles will be able to give you abilities, some tiles will be able to give you additional movement, repositioning. So there's going to be actually a lot of this kind of stuff that's going to kind of make the game much more memorable and much more like exciting game to game. So yeah, round 1 and round 3 are going to be very, very exciting as well.
So I just want to end up.
Sorry, I have just one more sentence. There's definitely a chance of we totally messed up and get killed.
Yeah.
And that to me is okay. Because I think if we make something that's really, really risky and we failed, we will learn a lot from making those big bets and then fail. However, if we only take baby steps and do smaller things, we'll never learn as much as we did in these kind of crazy ways.
Yep.
So I think there's a chance that we may totally mess up and get killed. So yeah, I agree with a lot of people's concern. However, we also do a lot of things to prevent that from happening. For example, doing playtests, right? Talking to different industry veterans, other game people, designers from other game companies, designers from other teams, and doing playtests. We did a lot of things to try to reduce that from happening as much as we can. However, it still sounds very scary, which is exactly what we want, and also that's on the other side, right? That also means like opportunity and the potential uplift. Yeah.
And I just gotta say this real quick. We have 46 people in this chat. It's 10 o'clock at night for me. It's probably 10 o'clock at night right now for Full Frontage. It's 5 in the morning for Previac. It is 4 in the morning right now for Dude. People are waking up because we care about this game at the end of the day. We all want to see this game succeed. We're not here. No one here is in this chat right now to attack you guys or to say, no, you're stupid, this is what you're doing wrong. We all want to give you positive but also criticism, because we all want this game to succeed. You know, we have people in this chat. We have Tubi. You know, we have people that make art that's able to push the Twitter scene. That's able to make it to bigger eyes. We have people, you know, like we have people like Super Vinny that's leading the Portuguese scene. We have people, you know, we have people like Abdod that's leading the Turkish scene. You know, we have people from all around that love this game so much. And if we did not care, we wouldn't have this stage channel. I would not be invited again. Full Funches would not be invited again. None of us would care at all. But we do. We do care about this game succeeding. We do care about this game going global. For whatever reason, it gets emotional. I get emotional about this game every single day. And seeing those comments about, oh, this game's already dead. This game's already dead. They have not tried it, and it's all about believing in the developers and seeing what their feedback from their other associates, from their other employees, to see that this is going to be the best change for us. And just like they say, this is all risks. We're all taking risks in order to make this game the best we ever can. Because for right now, let's be honest, as content creators, the game's very stale. You know, we kind of rely on balance changes after every single month. Oh, I can't wait to play Archer Queen again. Oh, I can't wait to play SK versus Countess again. I can't wait to play SK Clash again. It's great. But at the same time, it's going to be great to see other things pop in. Double hero draft. When you see like draft challenge in general. When you see the bigger board. Like when you see the Twitter community blowing up about Bikini Battle Healer. It gets a storyline ready. And this is what we're here for. We're here for the game to get better. Nothing like the Clash of Clans. We are a bunch of unique members, a bunch of unique content creators, a bunch of unique effort. Everyone's so unique into this community. And we can make this so much better. So this is a time we need to rejoice and we need to come together and support. But also, not to be a bunch of yes men. If you have concerns, please address them. Address Frank. Mm-hmm. That's his job, to be a community manager, for him to listen. And he's doing a great job. I'm not saying this to be yes man. If you disagree with something, make your voice heard. You don't have to be a content creator. You can just be yourself. Be yourself and make a tweet. There's a big chance that one of us would even read it. DM one of us content creators. We love attention. I love attention. Who doesn't love attention that's content creator? Let's be honest. Who doesn't like see that one DM pop in the morning? Hey, Spoob, I have a question for you. I'll take that question. But the biggest thing is that this is the biggest moment ever since the small talk. This is the biggest time for us all to come together and to treat each other and to get excited over. Mm-hmm. This might be the biggest change, or it might be the worst change. But this is a risk that we should all be willing to take.
And kind of following up on that, Frame, from your side, what does the community, not just creators, the community need to do to provide feedback kind of coming out of this? Like, what would be the most ideal way for you to kind of absorb all the feedback from the community to potentially address some of the issues that might come with the update?
I think the best way is to just be on Discord, Reddit, and also just talk to you guys. You guys are very, very valuable in terms of addressing the broader community feedback anyway. Mm-hmm. So just you guys are also hearing a bunch of voices that we don't have time for. So a bunch of your YouTube comments, your communities, your channel members, everybody there are extremely valuable. So we don't really have any drastic change to how feedback is given. So far, we've been pretty good at analyzing the feedback very quickly, and so it's going to continue as it is. And also I do want to we have obviously Supercell Creators Discord server, and I am there more than needed. It's I talk there for probably every single day for 100 messages per day. So I will see the message there. If you ping me, don't worry, Draco is not gonna kick you off there. He has no power there. But you can add me at any moment, and I will see that message. But speaking of creators, I would love to also hear anybody else in the creator community and the creators in the audience as well, because I would love to see from their perspective and their communities and what do they think and what do they, if they have any questions for us as well.
I think I'm not a community manager, but I generally wish everyone just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just like exactly what Full Frontage did. Like you have skepticism about this change, just say it. Well, you did exactly what I think people should do. Also, people who say the game is dead, this is a loose update, this is terrible. That's exactly what we need. Even though it sounds very controversial, but that's exactly how I like to for people to react, because that's yourself, right? Just be yourself. I think that's really important as game developers, because we do not want to hear the kind of the second thought or the filtered version of the thought or the good words. The good words doesn't mean much to us. Only the criticisms, only the first reaction really helped us, because that's the reality, right? No matter how good the change is, if a people perception is not good, or if people hear it from friend word of mouth that it sounds. A friend played this game. Oh, it sounds good. Well, it's good because they cannot move. Oh, that sounds terrible. That's also a reality. That's the world we are living in. So I rather have honest, open, and true feedback rather than the good or sugarcoat this stuff. So I think just be yourself. Speak your mind. Whenever you hear something, just let us know how you feel. I'm not talking just to the creators, but also all the players. Just let us know. Use whatever format you have. Let us know how you feel. No matter it's good or it's bad, it's totally fine. Because we are not here to be the guys to be loved, Baron. We are here to make the best game. To make the best game, we need to have as many feedback as we from the players.
And for the community too. If you say in our comment sections, this sucks. If you want actual change, tell us why it sucks, so we can pass it on. Don't just say this sucks and expect change.
No,
it's okay. It's a metric to see this sucks, but like if they want change, you got to tell us what do you want that change to be. Like why does it suck for you?
Yeah, if someone hurts their arm, if someone hurts their arm, they're gonna walk up to Daddy Frame and be like, "My arm hurts," and be like, "Okay, well, what's wrong?" You're gonna keep crying. Okay, what's going on so I can fix it?
But
dude, that's Clash Royale talking right there. If you be a man, be a part of the Clash mini community, you gotta say what's wrong. Okay? And I gotta say, shame on the Twitter, I would say this right now, shame on Twitter, shame on Reddit for just saying boo-hoo the entire time. There has barely been any questions. That Full Frontage and I spent hours converting. I skipped the gym today. I didn't see my girls doing squats at all today. I didn't go to Aqua Zumba tonight. It hurt me, but I cared, so I came back and I want to see those questions. All I see is L update. Okay, then what's L about it? So I can tell them right to your face, right to YouTube. But guess what? I got a total of 25 questions, but it was all about so Spoob, how are they gonna kill the game today? How am I supposed to answer?
So I may. Sorry, I may slightly disagree with you that I personally think if somebody just tell me, hey, this sucks without anything, I think that's also very valuable, and I love that because I'm also a player myself. When I play other games, I just don't have time to think about how should I help them solve their game. I just feel this sucks, and I just want them to know. I'm also a player of other games. I'm also a player of Clash Mini as well. I just don't have time for those. I just feel this sucks and I say it. I think saying it is much better than not say it. So I think even this sucks is still very helpful for me as a developer because this means somebody don't like this and I should be alerted. Versus somebody feel this sucks but don't say anything, right? So I rather players say anything, even if this sucks. Because as a player myself, I sometimes just don't have time. I say this sucks, and that's fine. That's nature. That's how players do, and I'm a player too. I do this all the time. That's totally fine. So maybe you don't like your channel to have those, but I think at least for myself, if someone just tell me, hey, fan, you suck, that's totally fine. I love those comments as well. So yeah, just be at least for myself. I just wish just be yourself and say something. That's much better than don't say anything.
Sure.
Yeah. It's just personal preferences. Sorry.
Hey, it's no judging at all.
Each their own.
Exactly.
We have Abdod and P.E.K.K.A.
We have three. Yeah, I was just gonna say we have 3 creators raising their hand. We want to get them up because we've got a couple of minutes, 10 minutes left, I think. So
Yeah, let's
Should we
get
move on
going.
to the creators?
Yep.
Yeah, all right, I'll do preview
Yep.
first.
Hey guys, hello everyone.
Yeah,
Yo.
So I have three little questions. First one is, do you consider making 6 or 7 mini decks and adding 4th mini abilities for better adaptation?
We are seriously considering expanding the deck size because after playing this mode, we just feel that I need more tools to counter the enemy.
That's
so
what I
we are
want.
exploring that. That's why I said in the beginning that we only did 1/3 of the change that we actually think we need to do.
That's
So
smart.
please
Watch this
expect
space.
bigger changes in update 8.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
thank you.
also a funny story. I've seen one of the screens of one of the engineers just like messing around and trying to like trigger like more minis on the front page, just like sitting on the bottom, like not having their little plinth because they're kind of like additions. It was very funny. So we had like 2 additional ones like just sitting on the side. So it was
Thank
like
you.
a triangle. It was very funny.
Please
and
do it.
so we can definitely take a look at it. But yeah.
Okay, so next one. How rumbles are gonna work with this change? Because it seems kinda weird, to be honest.
Should we?
Yeah, let's.
Should we? Yeah, we should. Rumble is no longer Rumble. Rumble is now 6-player draft.
Okay.
Oh, let's go.
All right, we'll take it. Let's go.
Rough
Yeah.
Rumble's
Yeah,
coming. Let's
no
go.
one ever plays
Let's
Rumble.
go.
I love that when I saw that.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
good, that's good.
But
Yeah, we had a huge debate within the team that shall we allow players to move their minis in Rumble, and because in Rumble you face different opponents
All the time.
and different opponents have different placements. So my previous placement may be very stupid against a new player, so maybe I need to move the minis again. So that's actually the biggest debate and the discussion and the experiments we did spend most of the time testing 2 different versions. One is that you can move, the other one is you cannot move facing different opponents. In the end, we still decide to go with you cannot move because there are tiles. Even though each enemy is different, but because of tile, it plays an anchor effect of the strategy of placement is rather around the tile placement so that you can still predict the enemy and try to think 2 steps ahead, try to counter them before they even place their things in the tile because they are going to, most people will use the tiles. So it's still very counterable and mind game and strategic. So in the end, we decided to go to the extreme version of making Rumble also no movement.
But also because everybody loved like draft so much, we just want to see it as part of the main game and then see how it evolves from there, and we'll be adjusting it as we go, and so it's just part of the main game now.
I have an important
Nice.
follow-up question on that. Can you still click on people's names on the side and see what minis they have in their decks?
I think you can, yeah.
Yeah, yes you can.
Perfect, yeah.
I'm
That's
playing
all.
Rumble.
And the last,
please.
To what? Sorry, you
Board
broke up.
size.
The size, yeah. If the board size is going to be big,
Yeah.
like events.
Yeah, that's another thing we tried with different board size. We still decide to stick with the smaller one, the normal one. It is because with bigger boards, there are more choices, and it's slightly harder to understand or how to say remember the battle. I don't know if that makes sense. The bigger boards means like a bigger like stage for people to perform the battle.
Yep.
So it's harder to remember. The smaller boards makes us less choices. Each choice is more important. So after playtesting all different modes for multiple times, a lot of times we decide to stick with the smaller one because the choices are much more less choice, but more important choices with a smaller board.
I think that's huge for no movement. Yeah.
Anything
Okay,
preview?
perfect. Yeah, so the last one, can the second tile on third round appear on the tile where the mini is already standing?
Can it? I don't know.
So this is a crazy hidden depths of the game. So that's a rule I'm sharing with you guys. The third tile will pick an empty spot to spawn. So if you are a really good player, you can use your mini placement to maneuver the position of the third tile. For example, you do not want the tile to spawn in front lines. Then place more minis in the front line, you are forced the tile to spawn in the back line.
Yep.
So that's a very hidden depths of this design. I don't wish everyone can use it, but for like extreme good players, they will use this to change the fate of the game.
Sounds good. Thank you for all the answers.
Thank you for coming.
Love you,
Thank you for the
P.E.K.K.A.
answers.
Thanks, P.E.K.K.A.
No problem.
Abdod.
Dude.
Oh yeah, let's go, dude.
Dude.
Mr. 4K, Mr. 4K on YouTube, my man. All right, get it, boy, get it. Oh, let's go. Come on, dude. Please don't fall back asleep. Oh no, he's watching Sonic. He's watching Sonic Prime. Come on, dude, get up, bro. Come on, everyone, tell him, dude, to get up. Come on, tell him to
You're
wake
invited.
up. Oh no. Oh no, he's fumbling the bag. He's fumbling the bag. Look at him, dude.
Oh,
Look at
man.
him, bro. He looked like a Stonehenge character, bro. I can't believe he watches Sonic and he's this slow. That's crazy. Man, I can't believe it, bro. He says, gotta go. Every morning he wakes me up, says, gotta go fast. And look at him. He's stale. He's sleeping on his desk. He's dead. He's out of rings, bro. Someone gotta go get him rings. Oh no, what the dog doing? He feel like enchanted right now with the big massive value. Oh.
Let him move.
Let the bro cook. We let him cook for too long. Now he cooked himself out. Hey, but Frame, big question. How are we going to counter Clash? It's a big thing because you got Prince and Spear Goblin, Fisherman. Are we just going to get them redesigned?
So
Are they going to?
no,
No.
there are a lot of ways to counter Clash, because so first Clash can counter Clash, right? You can use your own Clash to counter the enemy Clash. The other thing is there will be a lot of minis that's much tankier than before. A lot of Clash ability is about like damaging your line, so just save the minis, don't place them in the board, and then use them to protect to counter the enemy Clash. Yeah. So in this no movement, placing minis becomes really important. You do not want to place everything too early. That just show hand to the enemy, and you also want to save something to counter the enemy clashes. So not playing something is also a really important decision to make in this no movement gameplay.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Also,
So Ice Wizard 100% win rate or 100% use rate.
The best unit in the
no,
game.
Ice Wizard is very useful. Yes. But also not just Ice Wizard. We haven't revealed all the upcoming.
Oh god! Oh jeez! Oh, that's gonna be so hype. No, I'm sorry.
So-
Some just came on my brain.
One troop that's coming to the game is going to be very much happy to take Clash abilities together with its
Clash
allies.
Soaker.
So it's going to be very something. It's going to be something that's going to be very interesting and questionable if you really want to go full Clash. So be careful when you play full Clash decks.
That's fire. That is fire, dude. Shui Ming is shaking right now with his. Oh my gosh! I am so excited for Shui Ming now. Hey, I think Abdud's got his hand raised. You gonna be fast now? Or you gonna be too slow?
The green one means I invited. So
Oh.
it's just
So
a matter
he's
of
still-
accepting it.
Oh,
Dude is fumbling the bag. Darn, bro. He got 4K on YouTube, boasted all over the Supercell creator chat. Now he's fumbling. Expected. As expected.
I think he quit the app. I don't see him anymore.
I have
Oh, he's gone.
I have
Oh,
another
he's
question while we're
embarrassed.
waiting for Abdud. Do you see Natureborn having an unfair advantage being the only one that can move multiple times?
Only once.
Well,
Only once per game.
yeah. But do you see
Yeah,
that as an
she's-
advantage for like is Natureborn going to be the most used hero because you can kind of reposition her?
I don't think it will be she will be the most OP one. This is part of her toolkit.
Yeah.
And we are going to make her balanced, so I'm not that worried. But
Okay.
After this change, she's one of the most unique hero in the game, and we love that.
Excited to see it then.
I cannot wait to spend $35 on Natureborn skin now.
I already spent it.
Yeah, I can't.
One thing to consider is that there's gonna be like Natureborn like breaks the no movement rule, right? But that's not to also say that we will not have more minis and heroes that are going to break the game mechanics rules in the future. So yeah, let's just say that for now.
Yeah.
So update 7 is going to be interesting.
Abdud, you want to
Wait.
try again?
Dude, are you awake? Are you
He's
okay
leaving and
now?
joining, so
Let us know.
He's getting bullied.
either he's very good at Discord in his sleep, or that he can leave and join calls.
Just in bed, he's just lying in bed. He's like, I'll do it next time. And there's always next month. Man popped off this morning and now he's too tired. Darn. Can we get him chatting on here? I want to see. I want to talk to him chatting.
Abdud raised his hand.
Yes.
Come on,
Yes.
Abdud.
Oh,
Oh, enchant, put up and put it down.
oh,
He-
I see.
he's Baiting
You're
us.
scared.
He's baiting us.
Oh, there we go.
I do a
we go.
better
Chatting.
enchant impression than himself, so he's scared.
Enchant, you got the invite, by the way.
Nobody
There
does
you
a better
go.
enchanting impression than enchant.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing the dance? Pop in.
And
Flacco?
the UI is broken.
Oh,
Abdud
Abdud
says
is
I
back.
can't-
Oh, there's a building.
Apparently the UI is broken.
Oh,
Abdud
so
is
then we probably can't take community questions
Right.
either.
Oh, maybe
we
the
probably
app, yeah,
can't.
maybe the app update or something, so people cannot accept.
You want
It's
to drop your
weird.
question in the chat then, Abdud, and we can just look at it there.
Yeah, Abdul, you can just type the question. I mean, really, if you,
He said I can't type.
I can't type, but
Oh.
he typed it,
Abdul-
so
Abdul-
apparently he can't.
Dude
type.
has a girl over.
If anybody in the community has questions, type it in chat or send it to one of us,
There you
and
go.
we'll send it to Frame, and maybe we can
Yeah,
have
please.
a follow up mini answers, and we can just throw questions that were asked during stage channel on that. Is that okay with you, Frame?
Ooh, chat.
Yeah. All right, let's see one last time if Achan can make it. If not, we will have to be leaving soon.
Skeletron made a really
I
good
think
question.
something's broken.
What are the chances of getting Bikini Battle Healer skin? Frame?
I mean, we do have the MiniMondays competition ongoing for summer outfits, so some inspiration going on there.
That's it?
It
All
could
right.
happen.
Okay.
Oh,
Just say it. Just
yeah.
say it. You know?
This was an important question that I actually forgot to write down. Selling minis and being able to place them, no longer a thing, right?
No, you can still sell them in the round you place them, but once they are locked onto the board, you cannot sell them anymore. Because if once players can sell, that basically means that the certainty is broken.
Yep.
Right. So we want players to have certainty, want to have good context. So we do not allow players to sell after turn start.
So you can sell to cycle the shop to get what you want for
Yes.
upgrades, but you can't sell a mini placed from a previous round.
Exactly.
Hello. Yeah, so apparently I can't turn on my webcam because it breaks Discord, but the more you know.
Oh, okay. Let's go audio only.
How's it going, everybody?
Enchant.
Good.
Very good. Very good.
All right, so exciting things here. I personally like the change. I think it's going to be great. So far, I haven't been wrong on when I've said that I've liked changes and they come out. So let's hope it continues to go this way. But a quick question. So I know we were mentioning some minis obviously needing to change because of this. Fisherman. What's going to happen with that?
Yeah. So Fisherman definitely can really disturb the enemy by hooking their core minis like heroes to them. So we are also doing some changes to Fisherman so that he's not that broken. So he's fine. I think when we first started playing, a lot of people use Fisherman because they think, yeah, this dude will be the most broken one, and then people figure out how to counter him very quickly. So now I think a lot of people don't use Fisherman anymore. So yeah. I think the really interesting part about this change is that once something is very broken, the counter minis emerges because of the fixed position you know how to counter. Even something is very broken, you still have a way to counter that.
Yep.
So I think that's the best part.
Okay. Yeah, because I could just see the Fisherman versus an Archer Queen player, and I mean, if you don't have like an Ice Wizard, it's not going to be fun for you.
Yeah. We are totally aware of that.
Perfect.
All right, just making sure.
Right, thank you all.
Oh,
That
thank
was
you.
great. Unfortunately, we couldn't get everyone. There seems to be a bug with the UI, but we'll follow up with some of the questions as well on Discord, and yeah, on Creators Discord as well. And thank you all for coming. And
Thank you.
for following up on this short notice on follow up of the stage of the small talk. So we'll continue watching feedback, and also, again, the creators got the extended version of the matches of the gameplay that we've showed at the small talk. So there could be some little. I know Super Winnie did a really good job at like analyzing every single corner of the gameplay and what's changed and what's new and what he always does that. So incredible job on that. I'm expecting more videos to come out after that, and so yeah, I'll be on the lookout for that one. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And again, we'll see you on July 6th when the update drops. In the meantime, I'll be informing creators about various things. So
And if the gameplay is good,
Thanks, everyone.
this is going to be probably the best update Clash Mini has ever seen.
The biggest comeback,
Yep.
boys. Super Vinny's a gift from God himself. We love you, Vinny. All right, thanks, guys.
After 8 will be even better.
yeah, I think we think update 8 is going to be good. But yeah.
To date, the best
guys.
update to date.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.